Good morning. Welcome to the Stokastic.com NFL strategy show single lineup sims edition. That was close, dude. The single lineup sims edition every Wednesday, week 14. Can you believe it, Greg? I know I say this shit all the time, but like week 4, we have what, 5 weeks left of the regular season?
Yeah, that's it. And the last one barely.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. Week 18 is more so just like pain. I may just, you know what I might do? Maybe we should hear me out, right? And I'm not volunteering to do the second one, but hear me out. We should, and I think this would kill. And let me know in the comments or in the chat if you agree with this. I guess we can't do that. Yeah, wait, maybe we could. I was gonna say, since we have like so many shows, we should do like an early slate hour, a main slate hour, and then bring on, like, I know EMAC would love to do it, or somebody bring on like an afternoon slate for people to do from 3 to 4 or something like that on week 18. It may sound like a reach, but my guess is there's going to be a lot of people who don't mind splitting up a 16 game slate into 2 slates. If nothing else, I'm going to be playing both of those slates. I don't know how much of the main I'm going to play. It's so ridiculous with all the guys sitting out.
I have not thought or looked that much ahead to week 18, but yeah, anything is on the table. I don't even know how the timing is broken up of games this year. Is it? They
don't post times until after week 17 because of all the playoff scenarios. Listen, I haven't thought of it either until literally right now. I'm just thinking that could be a fun way. That could be a fun way to do it. We'll see. Oh, Tony Triggers ASMR. He actually just tweeted me. Took down the FanDuel $3, $10K to first on Monday using the Sims. Hell yeah, man. Only the third time all year I played a showdown slate. Only thing I really changed drastically was I bumped Slayton's projection. All right, so you made one thing. You could have ROI boosted him. Yeah, you made one adjustment, and Slayton ended up having that big touchdown reception and was optimal. Congrats, man. That's awesome. You ready to get into this?
Let's do it. We are good to start building some lineups here. I got the single lineup sims on screen. This is not only, to Lofty's point, only 5 weeks left in the regular season, but it is also the last week of bye weeks, week 14, the final week the teams are on bye. So we see, fantasy leagues, best balls, all-star playoffs next week.
Yeah, man. And you got 4 buys this week, 4 week 14 buys. Anyway, appreciate you guys being with us as always. If you haven't done so yet, take a single second this fine morning, atone for your sins. You know the drill. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It's free to do. It goes a long way for us, and we appreciate you for that. Of course, leave a comment down below if you're watching or listening after the fact. And if you're in podcast form, we know you're out there. Leave a rating, a review. Goes a long way. And yeah, man, whether you're doing chores, whether you're at work right now, whether you're just hanging out, whatever it may be, we're here for it. Oh, I wanted to show you one thing before we get started. So if you go into the YouTube app, right, they have a yearly review. You know how like Apple Music and Spotify all do that now? Hell, Pickett does it too, right? All of those. If you go into that, you can see your most watched channels. So I get a DM from somebody yesterday. I don't know if he cares, but good friend of the channel. And he DMs me this, Greg, and I'll throw it up here before we get started. He DMs me this, right? That he is, where is it? Top 2% of viewers, right? And then John Ryan below is 0.1% of viewers. So I said, like, who's 1%? John Ryan is 0.1% with over 500 Stokastic shows viewed this year. I, as a matter of fact, went in and checked mine, and I was up there. I don't know where as far as viewers I was, but I had only watched like 276 Stokastic videos. Mind you, I put every one of my videos up so I can see it as it's going and see both of the chats. Mm-hmm. So he like tripled me here, which is pretty impressive. So curious to know where other people are.
Yeah. Who's number one?
It might be John. I mean, 0.1%.
It's probably number one. Who knows, though? Maybe there's somebody out there who could find that they actually did watch more videos than him.
I guess it's entirely possible. But yeah, he was 0.1%, 719 videos watched that year. Isn't that something? Anyway, let's dive into it. Let me know where you guys are at. I'm sure some of you guys have it pulled up in the app that could more than likely beat that out. But we've got a fun one today, an interesting 11-game slate. And I don't love quarterbacks this week. Last week was weird. Ended up being an extremely low scoring week. One of the lowest Millie winners. What was he, like 203 with a naked Jacoby Brissett lineup? You have an expensive Josh Allen this week. And if you go to quarterbacks, you guys will be able to see this. You have an expensive Josh Allen. You have Lamar against Pittsburgh, who that team has some real problems right now, albeit 5 turnovers last week didn't help. That could have looked a whole lot different. Matthew Stafford against Arizona. I don't know. Joe Burrow's up there. Baker Mayfield against the Saints, but that never really lends to a great shootout environment, and we've seen that with the Saints. I don't know where you're going here up top. I do have interest in Allen. The question now, and we do have Dalton Kincaid ruled out currently, that could change, is who do we pair him with? $5,300 Shakir? Do we go Dawson Knox if Kincaid sits against a team that is terrible against opposing tight ends? This is an expensive quarterback, but one I'm definitely interested in this week.
Yeah, Josh Allen, we also have currently projected for 12.57% ownership. No other quarterback currently has more than 9% ownership. To me, I'm looking at the projected ownerships we have in the initial projections. Hard for me to not be interested in Joe Burrow. Another week removed from the time off. He is $6,500. That is historically a cheap price tag for Joe Burrow. This Buffalo team has also been, everything about this NFL season has been weird. I don't know who's good. I don't know who's bad. Things change on a week-to-week basis. You see it in the betting markets too, where teams' futures odds drastically move. The MVP odds, we were a week ago, Matt Stafford got to minus 250 to win MVP. He's not even favored. A week ago, he's minus 250, not even favored to win the award anymore. And for me, I think this is a decent buy low spot on Joe Burrow. Cheaper price point than where he's at historically, only 3% owned. You've got an obvious stacking partner with him in Jamar Chase. So if we're actually going to get low ownership on Joe Burrow, this is a pretty interesting spot to me.
I like him too at that price point with Jamar. I don't know if T. Higgins returns to the lineup this week. We'll have further confirmation on that as the week goes on. Right now, based off of yesterday, it was actually Monday's report that he's still in concussion protocol. No problems with that whatsoever. What I actually love, though, and I do want to try this, is like a Josh Allen, Dawson Knox. Let's just assume it's Knox and not Kincaid right now, which you can kind of use him as a proxy for Kincaid. Not really. Like Kincaid's 43, Knox is 28, but you guys get the point. Like if we wanted to, we could swap him out and optimize it otherwise. What if we go Josh Allen, Dawson Knox, 2,800, by the way, Greg. So, I mean, in this matchup, he may not be special, but there could be some touchdown equity there. And then the Jamar Chase run back.
Okay. So Jamar Chase, for what it's worth, we do currently have T. Higgins in our projections. We got T. Higgins for 11 fantasy points at $6,200. So we do have him in at the moment. Jamar Chase, even with T. Higgins projected in for us, we still have Chase 21.31 fantasy point projection at 8,200. So actually, is that second best points per dollar wide receiver in our projections? Even with Higgins projected in right now is Jamar Chase at 8,200.
Wow, okay. Yeah, 8,200 is just cheap for a guy like Jamar Chase. Totally agree. Keith, we'll talk about that. We'll get to some lineups. Going to have Greg build one out that he's looking for after this, but yeah, look, I think you have a few guys that look really good in the projections. As far as ownership is concerned, you talked about the value we're getting on some of these guys. My guess is somebody like Chris Olave pops up a lot at 6,500. At the running back position, I don't know if you've looked at the weather yet for this Green Bay game, Greg, but you're talking 14 degrees at Lambeau Field. It's going to be a chilly one there. And it is a divisional spot. Packers, Bears. Packers 6.5-point home favorites against the 9-3 top of the NFC Chicago Bears. So, I mean, if the Bears come in and win this game, might actually be time to start taking them seriously. And I don't want to hear the comments and be like, what, you're not taking him seriously yet? You got to win. You would come in and win this game, or it's like a 1-point game, if you lose by 14 in a spot like this to a divisional team, I'm not taking you seriously. Bears are hot, Keith. No denying that whatsoever. The Eagles are also very cold, but got to see a game out of them. So I think we'll get a lot of Olave, Greg.
Yeah, we could plug Olave in here as well. Chris Olave at 6,500. We got him projected for 17 fantasy points, the top overall points per dollar wide receiver in our projections. And by the way, I don't feel all that much different than the bet. Like, I believe they are. Here's what I'm sold on. They're a good team. They're a playoff team this year. As of right now, I'd be very surprised if they won the Super Bowl, though. If they win this week, I would be less surprised if they end up winning the Super Bowl.
That's actually a really good way to put it. I don't mean this in the sense that they're not a good football team. I mean, do I look at the Bears as a true Super Bowl contender? That's a great way to, or even, you know what, I'll go a step further. Even to make it to the Super Bowl. I don't really see that yet. They've done a lot as far as takeaways go, right? This team has a ton of takeaways. And that is a sign of a good team. It also could be the sign of a little bit of luck, right? Turnovers are pretty unpredictable. Takeaways are not turnovers. If you're Geno Smith, maybe not so much, but takeaways are definitely more unpredictable. And I think they're a pretty decent team. That run blocking has been fantastic. I give them a lot of credit, no doubt about it. And I think Ben Johnson is truly the real deal. I mean, truly the real deal. But as you put it, exactly, is this a spot where we think they go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl? Probably not. Do you agree with me on plugging Olave into this one, though, against Tampa?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got him in here right now. So we've got Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, Dawson Knox, and that is going to give us just under $5,000 left for 2 running backs, a wide receiver, a flex, and a defense. So let's see. What do we have projected well for cheap at deep? Ooh, the Commanders are $2,800 against JJ McCarthy. I would play anybody against JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, I'd pay $8K for the Commanders against McCarthy. Watch, he just dominates them. But no, that's a very good spot here. Yeah, that's definitely a viable spot, no doubt about it. John, Brown's D has to be the chalk play this week. Sometimes I think you'd be surprised on chalk. And I only say that because when you're paying a premium for defense, a lot of times they're not chalky. Like, I'm looking at the pool ownership. I did run the Sims. This is our first run, so this will smooth out and be refined over the course of the week, especially as we get more practice reports. Browns are the 3rd highest owned right now, behind the Commanders and the Jets, who are 2,500. And you're probably thinking, like, what do you mean the Jets? Well, they're 2,500 at home against Tua, interception prone. Although the Jets don't have a single interception this season. They have been optimal. That's the thing, though, Greg. They've literally been in winning lineups this year, and they don't have an interception.
They have, off the top, I believe they have multiple return touchdowns this year. I don't know which team has the most return touchdowns this year, meaning kick and punt returns, but it feels like the Jets have. The Jets had
multiple in a game.
Let's see if I can find this.
They did. Remember against Cleveland?
In back-to-back returns, they had touchdowns.
Back-to-back return touchdowns. They have, I think, 3 on the season. They do. They had that one against Tampa. Remember when it went to when it looked like it was going to go to overtime? Or no, they looked like they were going to win in Tampa. I had that return late, that kick return late for a touchdown.
People get bitter online that we don't spend more time talking about defenses sometimes. It's not like that many people. It's just a handful of people like, why don't you guys talk more about defenses and kickers? Or it's because of things like this. Like, exactly. I don't even know how you go like, oh yeah, this defense is actually going to give up a lot of points, but they're going to return a couple of kicks and punts for touchdowns. So they're going to be a good defense because of nothing to do with their defense.
Yeah. Like the optimal Thanksgiving defense was the Bengals, and the Ravens had a 30-point total and the highest on the slate. So it's kind of a who cares situation. That's the way it goes. Kevin Porter, well, if not the Bears, then who? We were banking on the Rams, Lions, and Eagles. They all lost last week. I would still take all three of those teams over the Bears in the postseason, though.
Somebody said it was that is true. Yeah, that is right. One of the Jets weeks, it was a block, because that was the one where Aaron Glenn was going nuts running down the sidelines because they blocked the kick.
Yeah. That was the Tampa game, right?
Same shit, though.
Right, exactly.
How do you how are we projecting for block kicks return for touchdowns?
It's all the same. It's all exactly. It's all the same thing. Dan, is it Loughran? Loughran? You can tell me how to pronounce that. Thanks for the super chat, fellas. Once you have your faves and want to boost your exposure to them, do you raise their projections, boost, or I do something else? I don't tweak projections, because if you're tweaking projections, it's kind of a house of cards scenario, right? Like or a domino situation. Call it what you will. I can't think of the right way to explain it. But if Greg were to go in and adjust the projection on, say, I don't know, give me a player, Greg, anybody. Like you were to adjust a player on
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. That means that you have to, that if you're doing it the right way, you would be adjusting the projection on T. Higgins, on Yoshivas, on Gesicki. You know what I mean? So because if you go up on the projection for Chase, you have to either go up everywhere, or you have to go down on Higgins. That didn't sound great. You have Greg didn't even catch that. Or
sorry, I was answering a message in Slack, so I had to look down for a second.
You're good. If you decrease the projection on Jamar Chase, then you got to bring it up somewhere else. So, at least if you're doing it right, Greg. So that's why I like the ROI boost.
It's also so much easier to make a handful of adjustments with the ROI boosts, because if you're making a change to Jamar Chase, there could be, you mentioned how it in reality should affect other players, but also just think of it this way. Let's say that here's what we've got as pay up wide receivers this week. We've got Jamar Chase, we've got Puka Nacua, we've got JSN. Let's say you do a run of Sims, you're not getting enough Jamar Chase, you boost his projection by 2 fantasy points. You could then get Jamar Chase shows up in like 80% of lineups. You don't get any of JSN and Puka Nacua. Now you have to go back, you have to change everybody's projection again, rerun the Sims. It becomes pretty time consuming. The ROI boost, you can make those adjustments in, like 10 seconds. It's just so much simpler.
Yeah, exactly. And you know that they're already in, because if you're adjusting projections, that means now you're running the Sims with those projections that alters everything. If you adjust the ROI and boost it after you've run the Sims, what that means is you're already getting lineups that exist, right? That are probably already positively simmed ROI lineups. And now you're just bringing them higher based on your preference for some of these people. So that's the way I would do it. What's the best way to get more of a player? The ROI boost. And if you're really not getting any of a player, use Greg's tried and true method that I think is great. Like if you boost him and you're still not getting much because he's just not owned at all, you would be wise to give him like 100% boost and then just cap him at like 10% or something like that. So then you're going to get a lot of him, or you'd get a lot of him unadulterated, like without the cap, but then you can cap him and get where you're comfortable. I think you figured that out, and that's the best way to do that if you're trying to kind of shoehorn somebody into a lineup.
Yeah. Super easy way to do it. I utilize that mostly for something like showdown slates.
Me too.
Just because, that's where you'll have more viable guys who are like 1% owned. It's not that often on an NFL main slate, other than like if we're considering the Thanksgiving, Christmas, those 3-game slates as main ones. But it's not that frequent for like a 10 or 11 or 12 game NFL slate. I'm like, I really need a bunch of this 1% owned guy.
I've done it one time this year and it didn't work out, but I think the thought process was sound. I did it on Gabe Davis a couple weeks ago, just to get like 5% of him in case, when Keon Coleman was out and Kincaid was out and they scored 100 points. He just was involved in not much and dropped one in the end zone. But do you think we should optimize this just to see where it comes in at? I think we probably just optimize this and see what type of guys we're getting here with a Josh Allen, Skinny, Chris Olave, and Jamar Chase.
Yeah. So want to do a 0% randomness, or do you want to turn it on 5 or 10?
I think we ramp it up a little bit because this is not going to be an unpopular build at all. This will, like this specific spot, a Josh Allen skinny with a chase run back and Chris Olave going to be popular. I'd go 10% randomness.
All right, so let's go 10% randomness, complete the lineup. And who do we get to? We got Bucky Irving. We got Quinshon Judkins. We got Adonai Mitchell showed up in the lineup. Mitchell, we got him projected for some ownership right now, 13.7%. He was in the winning lineup last week. Gut feeling, things could change over the course of the week. I think Mitchell ends up being pretty popular this week.
Yeah, and if that's the case, I'd rather go to a similarly priced John Mechie in the same spot.
Juwan Johnson at tight end. Dawson Knox, we had a tight end. He ended up getting moved over to the flex spot in the optimizer, and then the Commanders' defense ended up stinking. So that's what we got for our lineup.
Also, we've got a secondary stack with Bucky and Olave.
True.
And Juwan Johnson, which is a little bit scary.
All right, 66.1% sim ROI. Decent start.
Not bad. I don't hate it. I think some of that may be coming from the fact that we have two Saints here. If you took Juwan Jennings out and plugged Dawson Knox back into tight end, who do we have? How much is Juwan? What is he, like 4,000 or something?
Yeah, he's cheap. We've got Johnson is 4K flat. So who are the comparably priced players? Let's see. If we sort by projection, yeah, there's a pretty big gap between him and everybody else who's available in the flex. It's more than a full fantasy point between him and Harold Fannin, who's next. And actually, all of the best available options are tight ends. The top 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the top 6 available options by projections are tight ends.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, unless we went all the way down to Devon Vele at 3,700, who I'm not, super enthralled with.
And then I'm looking, Mechie's only $100 less expensive than Adonai Mitchell. He doesn't project much worse either, but the $4,100 range doesn't look great. I was wondering if we were going to get to any like Cooper Kupp or something like that. Doesn't seem to be the case. With this build, that's probably the best we're going to get.
Why can I not find him? Am I spelling Mechie's name wrong? Why can I not find him? Let me sort here.
Metchie?
Yeah, I just don't see him listed here. Oh, you know why? He's not affordable. There we go. Now he showed up. Okay, there. It's because he's 4,500. Yeah. So I was searching for Mechie, but I had the show affordable players tag on. So I was looking everywhere for him. But yeah, it's because he's 4,500. Okay.
Interesting we get Judkins, though. That guy really might have 25 carries this week.
Could be. It's a good matchup for sure against Tennessee. There's not that many games on paper you'd be like, the Browns should compete in this game. This is certainly one of those matchups, though.
Yeah, the Browns should win this game.
Yeah.
I bet him at 3.5-point favorites yesterday, or 4 points. Yeah, they're at 4.5. So it's a spot where they should try to just go to Judkins as much as possible. So yeah, and I agree, Clayton. He said, I spent a year jamming my own thoughts into the Sims with mixed results. As soon as I just let it do its thing, I started winning more consistently. Yeah, it's true. It doesn't mean you can't make some adjustments, but it's certainly, there's going to be options. There's going to be times where you don't want to start jamming all of your own opinions in, because then you just get in trouble. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking some stands either. Plus, it'll make you different. And if you end up being right, that's good. You just don't want to do too much. All right, what do you want to do? Where do you want to run next? Did you want to go with a Burrow stack here?
I'll do something a little different just because, we just built a stack from that game. So let's look somewhere else instead with lineups. And all right, let's see. If we go to, I have to select all the games here. All right, so if we go to QB, it's pretty spread out, right? Like we don't really have that many guys who are all that popular. let's try a Stafford stack. The one thing that is nice about Stafford that we've talked about over the course of the season, if Stafford has a big game, guess what? Puka Nacua and or Devontae Adams are having a big game. He doesn't really throw the ball to other people all that frequently. So I like that we could go Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams with Matt Stafford. If Stafford throws for 300 plus yards and a few touchdowns, at least one of these guys having a big game without a doubt.
All right, man. That's Devontae's so expensive.
He is expensive. The touchdown equity is ridiculous, though.
I said to Ben yesterday, like their goal to go situation where most teams would run on first and second down. Devontae Adams is their run play on first and second down and goal to go situations. It's pretty ridiculous. John, I'm with you. That said, if I am going to Adams, I'd rather do it in a Stafford stack. Like that's actually how I feel about this. I prefer Adams in a stack more than I prefer him as a one-off because he said, I don't want to keep chasing Adams 2 touchdowns, 23 points with 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he had a 3 touchdown game this year with like 24 fantasy points against, was it Jacksonville out there in London or something? He is so wildly touchdown dependent, but as Greg pointed out, if Stafford has a good game, he's taking these guys along for the ride. Now, I would be interested to know if it's Nacua and Adams that looks better in a stack, and we can actually try both here. So let's run one with Nacua and Adams, and then one with, say, Nacua and Kobe Parkinson or something like that.
Yeah, so let's see if this is even viable from a salary perspective.
Could be tough.
Right? Like we might go ahead and try to build a lineup here with the top points per dollar plays, which we're just going to have to force cheap guys into the lineup. Like, all right, Aaron Jones projects well for us at only 5,300. He's going to have to be included in the lineup. At tight end, Dawson Knox is only $2,800. He's going to have to go in the lineup to make the salary work. I don't really like any run backs from Arizona. They've become so expensive. And then also Michael Wilson's role was so diminished last week with Marvin Harrison back that, what's his price point at now? Michael Wilson, $5,600. It's a really tough click. And plus also the Rams defense presents a difficult matchup. I don't really like any run backs here. Trey McBride also super expensive. He is, $8K for Trey McBride at tight end with Marvin Harrison back. It's just hard to justify a run back in this for me. So defense.
For what it's worth, I don't actually think Harrison plays this week. But even so, that's a very expensive price point on Trey McBride.
Do we have Harrison in our projections? We do at the moment.
Yeah. So Gannon said earlier in the week that the heel injury is similar to one that I forget who the other player was on their team, a heel injury that kept him out a week, and that he's seeing the doctor this week. So I don't know. We'll see.
Wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting shut down for the season either. But at least right now with Marvin Harrison in our projections, there's just not going to be lineups that project well from a sim ROI perspective with the Cardinals guys in.
I'm with you. I'm just saying, if you're hand building lineups right now and you're just considering all options, I think it's very possible that Marvin Harrison Jr. misses this game. And I'm not sure why they'd try and rush him back. But I also don't really want to pay the 8K price point. McBride's probably around where he is now. And if you're doing that, that means you're going most likely McBride over Jamar Chase, McBride over a few of these other really, really great options up top in far superior matchups. I know the Rams got torched by Bryce Young and the Panthers last week, but that has been an exception to the rule for sure. So we'll see how it goes. So you've got Stafford. Now, I don't know if Aaron Jones plays this week either, but we can leave him in for now. He's dealing with a shoulder injury, couldn't return last week. He's Aaron Jones. And as much as I love him, Aaron Jones tends to get banged up quite often. He is cheap. I know the tools like him right now. Again, for those of you watching maybe Thursday or Friday, I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Jones sits either.
Could certainly end up being the case. As of right now, I'm going to have him in here just in the interest of trying to make cheap guys fill out the lineup. We've got the Jets defense in here. So we're doing okay now. We've got a running back, a wide receiver, and a flex spot left for 5,300. I'm curious just what shows up if I press complete the lineup. Judkins showed up again, Olave, and then AJ Barner to make it a double tight end lineup. Somebody in chat asked, will double tight end end up being popular with a lack of value? I'd say to an extent if the slate started now, but keep in mind, it's week 14. It's only a Wednesday. I don't know who's going to get ruled out by the time the weekend comes around, but somebody important is going to be ruled out. Multiple important guys that will open up value. We don't know who that is as of right now, but it'll be somebody, if not some people.
Yeah, I'm looking at how my lineups look right now, and I just ran it. I just ran a Sims with a 5,000 in the contest generator, a 5,000 field of 5,000, and I got like probably 125% exposure to tight ends. So that's actually not as much as I thought, right? It's not. I mean, you and I have done shows where, like on Fridays, where it's like 75% of lineups that have double tight ends. I don't think it'll be that extreme.
So there is one other issue right now, which is there aren't very good tight end options either relative to price. That's one of the other things that kind of limits it right now. This lineup came out pretty solid, 56.6% sim ROI. We do have a better projection relative to salary on Puka Nacua than on Adams. So we could try doing this, which you had suggested before, is I'm just going to take Adams out and then optimize the lineup with the rest of the players. And let's see, we ended up getting to Stafford, Walker, Aaron Jones, Puka Nacua, Chris Olave. Mechie showed up in this one. AJ Barner, Josh Jacobs with the Jets defense. We'll just see how the sim ROI when it's just a single stack, when it's Stafford to Puka Nacua, everything else being somewhat equally ends up looking like, as opposed to Adams double stack. A little bit worse.
All right, so then let's do this. Based off of John's question about double tight end, you and I have done two lineups now, one with Josh Allen, one with Stafford, both with expensive quarterbacks, both with some expensive chalk. Let's go Tyler Shough, Juwan Johnson, and Chris Olave. And before you guys say how ugly that is, you don't have to remind myself. You don't have to remind Greg. It is not going to be the prettiest thing in the world. However, Tyler Shough has now attempted 81 passes over the last 2 games. They are playing in good weather, presumably, unless it rains, down in Tampa, where you have a lot of cold weather games this week, a lot of dome games too, oddly enough, but likely going to have to throw. You may see a Bucky Irving run back in this, even if we just optimize it. But I do think this could sim out really well. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a single tight end lineup. And the price on Johnson and Olave, now that Shaheed is gone, they got rid of Brandon Cooks. Not that that matters a ton. Devon Vele is there. And Devon Vele could be a viable option if you're looking for another guy in this range. I did run the Sims and I got about 12% of him, but I got more Olave. I got more Juwan Johnson, and Tyler Shough is sub 5K against, let's say it, against the Tampa Bay secondary and just the Tampa Bay team in general that has been a pass funnel defense. And whether Alvin Kamara is back or not, whether it's him or Devin Neal, they're going to have to throw the football one way or another, whether it's a neutral, negative, or positive game script. So let's see what we can do. And throw Bucky Irving in there too.
Yeah, people in chat asking for him as a run back. The other thing too with Tyler Shough, I don't think he's great or anything, but I don't think he sucks. It's like we have some truly shitty quarterbacks playing right now. He's looked competent so far, and he's also been more willing to run the football the last couple of games. Last week, he had 6 carries. The week before that, 7 carries. I bet him to score a touchdown last week. He got into the end zone, but it was on a 2-point conversion instead of the touchdown. He's live to score a touchdown with his legs. I wish the number was as good this week as it was last week, but 11-1 is the opening number on him. I think that's a pretty solid bet considering
posted on Tails.
There's not that much difference between converting a 2-point conversion versus scoring a touchdown. And if I remember correctly, they also scored some shorter touchdowns last week. So you get into a scenario where, let's say that he threw for the 2-point conversion, ran for the touchdown, he'd probably be like 5-1 to score a touchdown instead of 11-1 this week.
Probably. Posted on Tails. He's not good. He kind of sucks, but he's not Cam Ward or Russell Wilson. And I'm not including that one Russell Wilson game. That was a total anomaly. Like he can at least give you, he went out there, he's thrown 2 touchdowns in 2 of his last 3, 19 DraftKings points in both. That's okay. He's 4,600 actually. So I'm all right with it. Let's optimize this at 10% randomness and see what we get. I'm actually excited about this one.
All right, so we got Tyler Shough with Bucky Irving as a run back, Aaron Jones, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, Adonai Mitchell, Juwan Johnson, Josh Jacobs, Titans defense.
Sick.
I'm pretty sure this is the best lineup that we've built out so far.
Give me a 123, Greg. Give me a 123.
94. Just guessing random numbers. Oh, I was pretty close. I was only 5% off. Sometimes
close.
You could eyeball these sim ROIs, or you could just guess a random number and it ends up being kind of close sometimes.
How do we make it better? I don't know if you do. I just like this build. I really like this.
Yeah, I don't know that other than just, randomness, you run another sim and it just wins an extra GPP across one of the simulation runs and makes the ROI a little bit higher. Other than that, though, I mean, it's got almost all of the players that project best for us. We've got Jacobs, Aaron Jones, and Bucky Irving at wide receiver. We've got Chris Olave, Jamar Chase, and Adonai Mitchell. We've got, maybe if we had a different defense than the Titans, like if we went to, I don't know.
Titans don't even project that bad. Isn't that 7?
Yeah, they don't project that poorly, but we could go to the Jets defense instead and then upgrade somewhere else. But I don't even know if that would make that big of a difference. Overall,
I don't think
it's pretty good.
How much salary would it open up?
We would have, let's see, the Titans defense is $400 more expensive than the Jets.
You can plug the Jets in and see where we can upgrade. I'm not sure there's going to be a great spot to upgrade, honestly.
So if we went Jets, we've got 500.
I don't think there's going to be anything like it's going to get us to Kenneth Walker over Aaron Jones or something like that. But I don't think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, probably not going to. We could go from. Yeah, there's a lot of guys who it's like you could pay up for a little bit more salary to just get the same projection. Like you said, Kenneth Walker instead of Aaron Jones. You're going from Aaron Jones at 15.39 fantasy points to Kenneth Walker at 15.3. We could turn, is there anybody Josh Jacobs could turn? And no, we've got Jacobs projected really highly.
I don't even think we want to, right? No, I like this build. And, again, Greg and I are doing this for the purpose of the show. If you get a positively simmed ROI lineup, you don't have to try and get it to 150. Like this is absolutely a lineup I would play without doing anything after that.
We could turn Jamar Chase into Puka Nacua. That's a little bit of an upgrade in projection, but also marginal. Puka Nacua is projected for about half a fantasy point more than
Jamar Jets Chase. Are projected for less than the Titans. So
yeah, it's probably going to be around the same. You're not going to get the exact same sim ROI on every sim run because it can be, influenced a little bit just based on if it wins, 125%, but it probably just won an extra GPP on a sim run. The reality is those lineups aren't really different.
For sure. Either way, this is a nice looking build. I like it. And obviously, if you guys wanted to check out the tools for yourself, you may have gotten in on the Black Friday deal. You may have not gotten in on the Black Friday deal. You may have gotten in on the Black Friday deal and you want more because you took advantage of it last Wednesday and now it's up, or last Thursday and tomorrow's your last day. And you say, God, what I'd give for an additional month of the core sims to get through the entire month of December, those Christmas Day games, those Saturday games, take it all the way to week 18. Man, I would love to do that. Well, guess what, fellas? You're in luck. Because that link in the description will take you to this page that you see on this here screen. All you got to do is sign up with any of these sportsbook partners, right? Click that link. It'll take you here. Or any pick'em sites. All these pick'em sites, if you're in non-legal betting states, chances are you have them available to you, be it Better, Sleeper, Underdog, Pick Six, whatever. Or Onyx is available in 40 plus states. So that's 40 plus DC. because it's a sweepstakes book. You spend 10 there, you get 100 in bonus picks. All of these have some form of sign-up bonus. We had somebody the other day in chat like, yo, I signed up on 2 books. I got my 2 free months of the core sims, and I won both of my bets, which is amazing. Plus, if you're on Onyx or something or any of these others, you're getting bonus bets on top of that, or they're matching your deposit up to $100. So all you do, hear me out, click claim offer so we can track it. Click claim offer on anyone you want. Every single one of these equals an additional month of the core sims. I had someone the other day, man, they were complaining. And by the way, just sign up, deposit your minimum $5 or $10, take a screenshot of your welcome email, your first settled bet, takes 2 seconds after the bet settles, and email us, not the books, email us at support@stokastic.com with their screenshots and tell us what you want. So you sign up on Caesars and Onyx, you go, hey, Ron, I signed up with Caesars and Onyx. Here's what you need. Can I get a month of NFL and a month of NBA? Boom. You got a code straight in your inbox and you're ready to go. But I had a guy the other day, Greg, that tweeted me and he was like, this is like, nobody can use this. He's like, everybody's signed up on all of these. Like, listen, I told him, you know this. I was like, I've been doing this long enough to know that the large majority of people, now maybe not people in this chat because we've run this for a while, the large majority of people, even if they bet on sports, are on like 1 or 2 sports books or like 1 or 2 pick'em sites. To think that most people have accounts and balances on the majority of operators out there, that's just living in a bubble and not living in the world of like the casual bettor or casual player. That just couldn't be further from the truth.
I'll go a step further. I'll bet the guy who reached out to you wasn't even on all the books.
Might not have been. Maybe
he was probably just like, I'm already on the ones I want to be on. I'm not going to sign up on the other ones. And then he just considered that as being on all of them.
Hell yeah, man. So check it out. There you go, Hemi. That's what I'm saying. He said, that's me. I need the sims more. Last week was nice having them and then immediately noticed the difference. Yeah, man. You're not, I always show you these big wins, right? And there have been truly a ton of monster wins, like 3 milli wins this year with sims users. A ton of the low stakes players are crushing. Countless 6-figure wins, all of these, right? But I'm never going to be like, oh, you just jump in here and immediately win. No, but you're going to know that you're building better lineups and it's going to be evident quickly, right? And you're going to understand the process that maybe you didn't in the past. And it's simply going to make you a better player. Even if you only use it for 1 month and go, you know what? After that, I think I'm good. I've learned enough now that I can do it on my own. Even if that is your MO, I still think it's a very valuable approach that you could take in the very difficult world of DFS in 2025 heading into 2026. So any questions ever, hit us up. We're happy to help you guys. FanDuel, what do you want to do?
Yeah, we could go check out the FanDuel side of things. So on FanDuel, same game, same players in, same players out so far in our projections. Let's see. If we go to quarterback and just sort by value, we've got Marcus Mariota, we got Josh Allen, Jacoby Brissett, Matthew Stafford. I'll pretend the guy who's next on the list doesn't exist. We'll stop talking now. But we could try a Marcus Mariota lineup, matchup against the Vikings, only $6,800. So he's extremely cheap over on FanDuel. Rushing upside for Mariota. Don't hate the matchup against Minnesota either. Chance for a lot of short field position against JJ McCarthy. You could also do naked Mariota lineups. Not necessarily saying that's what I want to do, but if you had to pick quarterbacks that are viable to run naked this week, I'd say Mariota and Tyrod Taylor are probably the 2 most eligible ones.
Yeah, like you're getting viable price points. This is assuming that Jaden Daniels doesn't play as well.
Correct. For what it's worth, there actually is. We need a little bit more information here overall, but McLaurin's also cheap on FanDuel. Assuming that he has his snap count restriction lifted for this game, Mariota to Terry McLaurin, I think, is a pretty good-looking cheap stack.
Let's try it. But I'm okay with it. I know Ben made a point that I agreed with, and I do agree with for the most part, that this is the type of game that isn't really conducive for stacking purposes, primarily because McCarthy's so bad. and the quarterbacking there is so bad and it's hard for them to push the pace. But I really don't hate the idea of this because it's so cheap. Mariota to McLaurin. McLaurin is still the alpha there. You saw against a good Denver team, 7 for 96 on 14 targets with a touchdown last week. If he is involved, and I assume he will be, this is a spot that we could definitely look to. Which game did Mariota injure Jaden Daniels? What game was that he got hurt? Was that the Chiefs game? That was the Chiefs game, right?
So it was a game.
Oh, Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle. It was the Seattle Sunday Night Football game again. Was it Sunday Night Football or just the late 4?
It was. No, it was. It was a night game for sure because I fell asleep. I don't know if it was Sunday or Monday. Yeah, it would have been Sunday. So, yeah, that was the game, week 9. Okay. What other good value do we have on FanDuel?
All right, so if we go ahead and look at the running back position, right now, Aaron Jones is so cheap on FanDuel. DraftKings too, but especially on FanDuel. He's only $6K on FanDuel with the different pricing. So you look at the top points per dollar running backs they have in our projections on FanDuel. It's Aaron Jones at $6K, Devon Achane at $9,200, Bucky Irving at $8K, and then Jonathan Taylor at $9,700.
Okay. Man, you have to think Devon Achane in this spot looks real good.
So does Jalen Waddle. Waddle's only $6,700 on FanDuel.
Plug him in. We don't have him in any lineups yet.
So we got Waddle at $6,700. You could also go to Mechie or Adonai Mitchell and have a secondary game stack by having, well, actually, we don't even have a first game stack. We just have a quarterback, 2 wide receiver. But we could go Adonai Mitchell with Jalen Waddle.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. We have Aaron Jones.
Oh, right. Yeah, never mind. That was by, that wasn't even purposely. I was just selecting top points per dollar guys without even thinking about the correlation. So we do. Yeah, we've got Aaron Jones. We've got Mariota and McLaurin. And then if we throw Adonai Mitchell in here, we've got Mitchell and Waddle too.
For sure. Dalton Schultz, Tua can't play in the cold. I've dispelled that myth many, many, many times, dude. It's not true. Last year on the Thanksgiving slate, it was like 15 degrees at Lambeau Field, and they lost that game. A lot of it was an early muffed punt set the Packers up. They scored early on a Josh Jacobs touchdown, and Tua and company played from behind most of that game. But Tua ended up throwing for 300-plus yards in that spot and was the Millie Maker winning quarterback. So it's not only that game, it's other games. Tua, when everyone says he won't be able to go into Buffalo, he's had a couple impressive games in Buffalo. So I don't buy into the Tua can't play in the cold. Is he worse than he would be at home? Maybe, but I genuinely don't buy into that at all. These are professional football players.
By the way, we just got news. Deshaun Watson had his practice window open today. Imagine if the Browns just like, yeah, we're just going to start Deshaun Watson.
They should.
No, they shouldn't.
Why?
Okay, so there's no future with Deshaun Watson at quarterback.
There's no future with Shough Sanders at quarterback, man. There's no future with any of these guys at quarterback.
Nah, you have to learn more about these quarterbacks though.
Learn
give
enough.
Them an opportunity. Because a lot of people just said there's no future with Josh Allen at quarterback after his first 4 or 5 games with the Buffalo Bills at that point in time too. It's not to say that Sanders or Dillon Gabriel are going to be competent at all, but get them experience and reps. And then also the Browns have said that we want to reduce the drama around the team because this is not the way you reduce the drama around the team, just throwing Deshaun Watson into the mix now too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm thoroughly unconvinced that Dillon Gabriel or Shough Sanders need a second, third, or fourth look at this point. But if that's the path they want to, I really think the way that the Bears, that Cleveland set themselves up for the draft was very smart. You trade out so you get an additional first for that Travis Hunter spot. Mm-hmm. You grab a D end. Their defensive line is sick, and their defense is good. And now you set yourself up going into the following season, likely to have the pick of the litter. Like if Tennessee gets the number 1 overall pick, they can't draft a quarterback. right? Like you just took Cam Ward number 1 overall. And a lot of these teams down at the bottom are struggling, not necessarily because they're going to draft a quarterback, but just because the rest of the team is terrible. So I don't know. It would be shocking to me, truly shocking, if Shough Sanders or Dylan Gabriel are starting next year, let alone on the roster.
I also think there's value in finding out who should be the backup quarterback going forward.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be either. Like it should be Deshaun Watson
as the backup.
Why? What do you do with his contract?
I mean, the contract is just an albatross at this point. But he was so bad last year.
Yeah, he's still not as bad as Shough Sanders or Dylan Gabriel.
Let's see. If we compare, he might not even have a better passer rating than those guys. And also, Watson is old now, and he's coming off the torn Achilles. He's in his 30s. Let's see. Who's had the best passer rating? Dylan Gabriel, Shough Sanders, or Deshaun Watson last year? My guess is Gabriel, but I don't know.
Probably, but it's like 2-yard passes. Dylan Gabriel has legitimately zero upside.
Deshaun Watson hasn't been good since 2020.
He hasn't been good since Houston.
Yeah, that was 2020 with Houston.
Yeah.
So the numbers that like Dylan Gabriel is putting up right now are the same numbers that Deshaun Watson's put up for the last 4 years.
I'd still take
at this point.
I'd still take Watson.
I will. And also it comes with so much off the field distractions and issues. Like that has to be a factor as well.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, they kept him on the roster.
Let's see. Deshaun Watson's contract. How many years are left on it at this point?
I think it goes through 2026 or 20 might be. I think it goes through 2026.
Yeah, next year's the last year. They could get out of it after the season.
Yeah. One way or the other. You draft a quarterback, take an early quarterback and put yourself in a good spot. Because none of these guys are the answer, man. None of these guys are the answer. Well, including, of course, Deshaun Watson, and that was a huge miss. But if they land the quarterback, this could actually be a fun team in Cleveland. They'll figure out a way to screw it up. He'll go to another team and end up being good again. But, Dan, thank you for the super chat. Would you ever consider an AMA style show and how you personally use the tools? I'm new. Watch the tutorial video, but have more questions. Sure. I have no issue. We could do that. Yeah, not like a weekly segment, but certainly we could do an AMA style show. Also, you have guys like Steve that answer questions in Discord I think it's every Wednesday at noon or 1:00 Eastern. So if you're not in the Discord and you're a Sims user, that is a great place to start. And Greg, I know, pops in there a lot as well.
Also, we kind of do it every Friday to an extent. Like we're looking at the slate specific, but people always ask us questions about the tools during that show that we answer. I would say that, yeah, we largely do that every Wednesday.
And Friday. Both, really, I think. So, yeah, we can consider it. Maybe a one-off here. We get something in. All right, let's optimize this and see what we got for FanDuel.
All right. Marcus Mariota, Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achane. We've got Juwan Johnson at tight end, the Titans defense. All right. See how this comes out. Titans defense is very cheap. They're $3,400 on FanDuel.
I think it's going to come out well. A lot of correlation. There you go, 75. I'm happy with it. A lot of correlation. You have the skinny stack with Mariota, who will use his legs a little bit, with the Aaron Jones run back. This is, of course, assuming he plays. Wait, we do have Jones, right? Did it just move him into the flex?
Yeah. So we just got Jones moved to the flex with Jonathan Taylor and Devon Achane in the running back spots. And I mean, not that it even matters, just kind of interesting. I was trying to figure out why those guys moved there. like really doesn't matter because all those games are 1 p.m., but yet just moved into the flex.
So you're telling me we got Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achane, both of them into this lineup. Terry McLaurin. That's pretty nice. Jalen Waddle as well. Oh, so we actually have double Dolphins in this lineup without Tua. So there's another secondary stack that you had mentioned. Big time one, actually. All right. I kind of like it. What if you took Waddle out?
Yeah, no other stacks were in here. You want to try taking Waddle out?
Actually, take Achane out. I just want to see what we can replace him with, if there's anything up there in a similar price range.
Here, I'll put Aaron Jones into the running back spots, then we could go flex, and we could look at the available wide receivers as well. So, all right, sort by affordable players. You've got Achane, James Cook. Yeah, so the options are either going to be Achane, James Cook, Josh Jacobs, or Bijan.
Let's throw James Cook in there.
Okay.
Much less ownership, right? Is that 13 or 18%? I can't tell. 13.
Yeah, right? 14% ownership, and the projection a little bit lower, not crazy lower, but it's 19 as opposed to 20 fantasy points.
Let's see if it makes a difference one way or the other. All right, so the same thing pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm never afraid, though, to play like Achane and Waddle without Tua, or Puka Nacua and Kyron, although without Stafford. But the problem with Kyron right now is that Blake Corum, I do not love that workload if you're Kyron Williams. But
he's also the only running back who the team gets to the 1 yard line, and he's like the third option.
Devontae Adams is the first, yeah.
And Corum's probably I'd have to look at what some of the red zone looks.
I looked it up last week when we did the show, and it was, I'm pretty sure, man, it was over the last, I think since week 6, it was almost split down the middle, I think.
It is. There was 5 to Kyron as opposed to 2 for Corum last week, but still, it is fairly hard for a starting running back. Kyron Williams does have an uphill battle to score touchdowns. They're inside the 5 yard line. They're throwing to Devontae Adams probably at least twice in that situation.
But was that red zone or was that goal line?
This is just general red zone. But
here, all right, goal to go. So inside the 5. So not goal to go, but inside the 5. Since week 7, 6 for Kyron, 6 for Corum. 12 for Kyron inside the 10, 8 for Corum. Here's where things will get funny, though. If it's 6 and 6 for those guys inside the 5, what is it for Devontae Adams?
Probably like 15,
oh my 20. God, it's 11.
Yeah, I would have guessed high. I mean, I did guess higher.
Oh my God. Dude, it's 11. That's just since week 7.
Yeah, they love that play. I don't know if you saw it. There was a play they ran last week where it was just the second the ball touched Stafford's hands, he just flipped it over to Adams.
That is unreal. He has 15 inside the 5 on the year. Puka Nacua, no one else has more than 2. He has 20 inside the 10. No one else has more than 6. On the entire season, no one has more than 7, and he has 15. He has more than twice as. That is just insane.
There was a game, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where Devontae Adams got banged up and had to go to the sidelines, and they were inside the 5 yard line. They called a timeout so that they could get Adams back in the game without him sitting out. And he still ended up scoring a touchdown after that, if I remember correctly. So it was like they specifically were like, hey, let's pause the game so we get Devontae Adams back on the field. He comes on the field. Everybody knows he's number one option in the offense at that point. The defense is probably like, hey, the ball's going to Devontae Adams here. They still just threw the ball at Adams and he scored.
Unbelievable. Yeah, he has 23 end zone targets this year. And 14 touchdowns on end zone targets. Think about this for 1 second. George Pickens is second in targets with 15.
Mm-hmm.
Second in targets with 15. Adams has 14 touchdowns on end zone targets. He has one less touchdown than Pickens has targets, and Pickens is number 2 in targets. Like, it's just he's the clear option there. He's the goal line back pretty much. So unbelievable. Joseph, yeah, I know Williams got hurt and was out the game, but that's why I went back to week 7. Corum is clearly, they're splitting work down there, and it's a little bit concerning. You got anything up on tails yet for today?
Oh, yeah. I posted a ton of NBA bets today. I've got a lot of NBA bets up. There's a big NBA slate. There was a ton of value early. I've probably already posted 20 to 25 NBA bets.
Yeah?
Something like that. I don't know the exact number, but yeah, something along those lines.
Okay. What's going on in the trendings today? Oh, this is a good idea. Leaderboard's on fire. And then it's just Ben with a big X there. I like looking at the trending topics. See if there's anything big. Go to the guys you're following. Edge Zone, man, those guys are awesome. I jumped in their VIP, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
Yeah, those guys are sick. Those guys are sick. And they're posting free bets as well. Look at this. These are from yesterday, but these guys are like legit posting free bets on here. A lot. This is awesome. I didn't know they were posting this much free stuff. Should be checking them out. Check out everybody. Download the Tails app while you're at it too. And if you guys, there you go, the Chicago Bears. I tailed them, Greg. Let's get it. If you guys, in a time like this, a time of the year where it's about, helping other people and getting gifts, but also giving gifts. The one gift you could give to us has nothing to do with opening your wallet.
Herpes.
I was thinking syphilis, but yes.
All right.
Is head into the App Store if you got a minute today. Go to the Tails app and leave us a rating and a review, preferably 5 stars. If you could be kind enough to do that, there you go. There you go. Chicago Bears working on a review for you. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man. If you guys could do that out of the kindness of your hearts, really only takes a second. Goes a long, long way for us. So appreciate you in advance. Anything else before we get out of here? Built 4 good lineups.
Yeah, we got end of the season, week 14. People were asking about the Sims. Loughran, I'll be here Friday. If you guys have any general questions about the tools, you could ask them during that show. But also, a lot of things are going to change over the course of the week. That's just going to happen a lot as we reach the tail end of the year. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, check out all the bets that Loughran and I are posting on Tails. That's about it for me.
Oklahoma, and appreciating chat viewers, say thanks to us viewers. I do literally every single show. I don't think anyone shows the gratitude that I do. And you come in here with that. Unbelievable. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great week. We will see you back here tomorrow. Showdown strategy, Showdown live before lock. Tonight, deeper dive live before lock for NBA. Don't go anywhere. You know where to find all this good stuff. And of course, you can hit us up over on Tails. I didn't mention, but I should. You can now comment on these posts. So you could come in, you like a spot, you don't like a spot, you want to go back and forth. You can comment on these posts now so we can take it outside of YouTube when we're not live, or you're watching the show later and you see that we posted some bets and you want to jump over there. We're trying to make this a user-centric platform as much as we possibly can. And this is the first step in doing so. So let's go over there. Let's chat. Let's shoot the shit, as they say. And we'll see you back here for the next one. Bye-bye.